Okay, so hey everybody, Team Wilpers, this is Athlete Spotlight time. Thank you, Chris Miller, for joining me. You are a huge part of our Facebook group and the organization and everything. What an honor. Thank you. How's it going?
Going well, Greg. Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me. Happy to have
Yeah,
a
for
chat.
sure. Yeah, exactly. Well, so you and I chat regularly anyway, as you're
We
one of my
do.
athletes, and we've gone through some stuff together, and we'll get into all that. But would you give everyone a quick intro as to who you are?
Sure. I live just outside of Philadelphia, born and raised. I spent a little bit of time living in Texas, both as a child, but I lived there for work in the early 2000s. I have three kids, three adults, I suppose. I don't have they're all grown up now. Two of my oldest son is married. My younger son's getting married in September, and my daughter is a sophomore at the University of Pittsburgh. So that's us, and we'll get into this a little bit later. But I was married for 32 years to my college sweetheart, and my husband passed away just about 2 years ago in March. It'll be 2 years that he passed away, and we'll. But I mention him because I'll probably talk about him a fair amount through this journey that I've been on because he's been a
Yeah, of
big part
course.
of it.
Of course. Oh, thank you. And yeah, what a journey it's been. But let's back up a little bit before that. So where did the journey start? Did you grow up an athlete? Did you ride bikes? Are you a competitive cyclist? Tell us your cycling. Where did the cycling journey start?
So I would not say, unlike a lot of the folks that you've interviewed, I would not ever have said like I'm an athlete. I would say I was casually athletic, right? So like I played softball growing up. I had pretty good hand-eye coordination. I taught my kids, how to play baseball and softball. Like I wouldn't embarrass myself in a backyard volleyball game or anything like that, but casually athletic. Growing up, I rode bikes with my friends. That's how we got around, right? We didn't have cars. We rode to the store and we rode to the parks and things like that. And my mom still has my 10-speed Schwinn bicycle in her basement. And it looks like I could probably still ride it. So it's kind of
Oh,
cool.
that's cool. If I had that, I would clean it up and hang it on my wall. That would be art. That would be like, yeah, that would be.
I'll put it up. It's cherry red. It's very,
Oh, yeah, do
I
it.
loved
That's
that bike.
cool.
And, but then, we go into college and then I have a full-time job. I work, I travel a fair amount. And I would say that probably in the mid 2000s, mid 15s, I just got into a place where taking care of my health and was not a priority. I think, we just kind of not eating great. I got into a place where I was pretty significantly overweight. And just generally, I was in my 50s, my mid, yeah, 53 or so. I was pretty significantly overweight. And I thought, something really has to change. I went to a Peloton showroom. My husband and I went to the Peloton showroom and looked at the bike. I was intimidated, like the clipping in, the whole thing. It felt a little complicated. And I was like, just walked away. About a
Yeah,
year later,
yeah.
I went and visited a friend of mine, and we hadn't seen these folks for a couple of years. I hadn't seen the husband in a couple of years, and he had always been like a gym goer, and he was like a big guy, like a big muscular guy. And when we saw him, he was lean, mean. He looked like Matt Wilpers. He went from like Adrian Williams to Matt Wilpers, and I was like, what happened, right? And
Yeah.
here they had a Peloton. They had gotten a Peloton. He had been riding it for a couple of years. And I was like, my friend like had me sit down on it. She pedaled. She showed me how it worked. I went home. I ordered it. I got it, 3 days later. It was amazing. So that's
Oh,
where I
awesome.
started.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Good role model, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I, from there, when I got the bike, and then once I figured out how to like work the shoes, and all, like I didn't know
Yeah.
anything. I didn't know how to like clip the shoes. I knew nothing. And I
Yeah.
got on the bike and I did a Cody Rigsby like beginner ride. And I thought my heart was going to explode, not out of joy, but out of like exertion, right? I was like,
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like not great. And I thought this this can't be good. This is not a good. So I started, and I'm like somebody who needs for things to make sense. I'm not like, I don't love random. I like order and, and, so I started reading, like exploring on the internet. Like I got on the Facebook page, and I initially found Christine's heart rate zone classes. She was doing those
Yeah,
heart
yeah.
rate zone classes. And I was like, all right, this makes a little more sense. This
A
makes
little bit
sense.
of metrics, a little bit of data. Yep.
A little bit of work in the right range for where you are, right? And then I think I found Power Zone. I found the Power Zone pack. I did like my first Power Zone ride, and I was like, here it is. This is it. This
Yeah. Now you're home.
makes sense. Yeah, this makes sense. And I got involved with the Power Zone pack. I joined a great team that I love, that I rode from 2019 to just finish this last challenge in December. And it changed. It's changed everything. It's changed. It's really. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say it changed my life. It has changed my life.
Yep.
So, and then let's see what happened. Then I was like, I did Pelafondos, right? I was doing Pelafondos, and I
Yeah.
had entered a raffle. I've entered a raffle, and I won a consultation with you.
Oh, right. That's right. I was the booby prize. You got me,
You
sucker.
were the prize. You were the prize, Greg. I won. And so that was in probably the spring, March or so, 21.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I should back up a minute because my husband was so he was always just the most supportive person for me, and like just like my greatest like cheerleader. So I had gotten the bike in 2019 in the summer, August, and for my birthday in 2020, he bought me a bike. It was pandemic,
Yeah.
and they were hard to get, and he
Yeah.
bought me a mountain bike. Was it a 29er? Is that a thing? Like a
29er is a thing. Yeah. Cool.
it's huge. It's a huge bike. And I didn't know what the heck. Like I was like, oh, okay. And I rode it a little bit, but I didn't have like the flat pedals. I didn't have shoes or anything like that. I was just
Yep.
riding the flat pedals and all. And probably around that time, then like in February or so, I got a note at work, an email at work, that they were forming a team to do a charity bike ride, and anybody wants to join the team. I literally rode an outdoor bike like 10 miles in the previous summer, and for whatever reason, I decided, yes, I'll do that. Let me sign up for a 70-mile bike ride from Philadelphia to Atlantic City. Yeah, why not?
I love it.
So thank God you came into my life, because you helped me get ready for that and prepare for that.
Oh, that was so much fun. Yeah, the first one of those is so much fun. And I say the first one because, and there's so much more in the middle of there, and all of it is so relatable, because what a fun journey. And you went from overweight and probably not active, not athletic, and how do we all get caught up in our adult lives, and fitness is not a priority. The jobs kind of suck it out of us. But fast forward, and you did that ride and did it well, and you've done several others since then, including a century this year, yeah, or last year now, 2023 century.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Well, that was hard. That was really hard. When I did the 70, and I did it like I was like it was. I wouldn't say easy, but it was easy. Like I just kind of flew through it. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
from Philadelphia to Atlantic City, kind of a lot of downhill. You're just kind of like go down to sea level. But I did it, and I thought, oh, that's 30 more miles. But 30 more miles. It turned out to be a lot, and I was not. I struggled with it. I had some problems with my shoes. My feet were kind of on fire. It was really uncomfortable. It had gotten a little warm. It had been cool most of the summer, and this was like the first hot day. I don't think I fueled very well. And I finished, and I was happy to finish and proud that I finished,
Yeah.
but I just finished. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
didn't have much more in me, you know? So I was like, I don't know if I need to do that again. And then over the holidays, I was like, maybe I need to do that again.
We
Do
talked.
better.
We had our coaching call just the other day, and
Yeah.
yeah, we're starting to plan for that century ride again, aren't we?
Yes, right. I'm going
So
to do it. I'm going to do it better. Yeah. I'm working up in
I
my
love
head.
it. So that kind of takes care of a goal. I mean, it could be among other goals and everything. And I always ask people about obstacles and training and everything. And now you have already mentioned your husband, and man, what a tremendous life obstacle, I guess, just
Yeah.
unexpectedly. Tell us what happened.
Yeah. So, let's see. It was, I think I was like, I've been doing really well. With the training, I was like fully into it. And then my husband passed very suddenly, unexpectedly. He had a very short illness that, just took him from us. Just,
I can't imagine.
just,
First of all, just
yeah,
I don't think any of us can unless we've been through it.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
we just didn't, it was just not, I just still couldn't, still, sometimes I can't quite still believe it. And I was like, geez, and so much is happening. But I had said to you, well, look, I'm going to just take a break from, our training, you know. But I didn't stop riding the bike. I mean, I even in those earliest days, like I I got on the bike because one, I think it the physically like working on the bike, it kind of helps you. I don't know, it just physiologically, it helps, right? And I think that there were times when I was thought, even if I didn't want to get on the bike, I got on the bike. And sometimes I was doing like hard rides because I was like, okay, so you can do hard things, you can do hard things. You can work through this. And it was like cathartic in some days. Some days like I don't want to get on, but I did, and I've always felt better when I did. I always felt better. I never get off the bike having regretted doing that. You know what I
That's a
mean?
good point. Yeah.
And it just, through it all, I think that um, it just helped me, and then it just helped me. It gave me like I have to do this. It wasn't like I have to do it, but I did. I had to do it. I felt like I had to do it because it released good endorphins. Some days it was about getting a good endorphin rush. Kind of sometimes it was about just getting into a different headspace and doing something different, than just thinking about everything. And I think having that consistency and doing it consistently, it really helped me. I think it could have been very easy. There could have been very easy days to just stay in bed, pull the covers up over my head, or go to bed early, or you can turn to alcohol or
I was
other
just gonna
things to
say, yeah.
kind of like to cope. And my one of the ways I coped is to stay consistent with my training.
That's really
And
powerful,
the other,
isn't it?
it is, and I think the other thing is that you know, um, you know, we all say it, right? Life is fragile, life is fleeting, but then when you actually are confronted with how fragile it is, right? I think I need to stay healthy for my children, my kids. Even though they're adults, they still need me, right?
Yeah,
I
of
need to
course.
be healthy for them. I need to be healthy for myself, right? I have to be able to take care of myself, right? And so I look at this as um, an investment in myself, of being a good example for my kids, on like, this is a terrible thing. This is a terribly sad thing that happened, but we are going to move forward. We're going to continue and move forward.
That's amazing. Thank you. That's got to be hard to talk about, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
we were talking before, and you're like, "Yeah, this has to come out." It's good for you for being able to
Yeah.
talk about it and see the positives that there are. Of course, this is the absolute
Yeah.
worst thing that could happen to a
Yeah.
person, short of
Yeah.
your own death, I think.
Yeah.
And I can just imagine, how can you get up in the morning? How can you
Yeah.
continue working? How can you continue being a role model for your kids? And man, kids are pretty motivating, even adult kids who still need you, pretty motivating. So you
Yeah.
still do have a lot to offer and to live for.
And it's true. And there's also, like, you have a lot of support and help, right? I mean, like, I'm blessed. I live within 15 minutes of my mom and my siblings. They're right here. I have my cousins. I have a lot of support. We have a lot of friends, and my husband was very active in the community. He was a soccer coach and very involved in school. So we have a big community who he really impacted, and who are, who support us. And my Peloton team, I mean, it's so funny sometimes you think about, like, these, like, internet friends, but how important they are. I mean, there are times, like, my team, my Peloton, my Power Zone team, I had ridden with them for years. So they knew what had happened. I told them what happened, and to be able to get on the leaderboard and have their high fives and have their support, and like just being there, like that hand on your back. I mean, you feel it. You do feel the hand on your back, and your support, Greg. I mean, like you, now I'll cry. But
wait, don't cry when you're talking about me.
But just like being able to say, hey, like, what I can do, knowing how to, like, meet me where I am, meet me where I am, and helping me, because if it had been too hard, like, if some of the rides were too hard, and I think I had said to you, like, I can do these, but I can't do, like, zone 7.
Sure.
Like, I'm not gonna, like, mentally, I can't do zone 7 right now, So, like, maybe I need to, like, pull back my FTP, you know what I mean? Because that's where I am right now, right? And just kind of like helping me there, like. So I think it's been important, because I think, like, without like the program, without the training, without like the accountability of the training, I might have just, I don't know, I might have just, like, petered out. I might have just, like, done fun rides or whatever. I don't know what it would.
Could have, should.
It's been important.
But you didn't. You didn't, and that's the part. So you didn't. Yeah. Man, what a test. You were tested.
I was
ultimate
tested.
test. And here you are on the other side, the winner. And cycling seems like one of the components of the foundation that can contribute to your health and your well-being and your ability to move on. So that's pretty cool. Not just cycling, but your community also. So the team, the teammates. Yeah. And that's kind of what we are doing at, with the Facebook group and everything. And you're a huge part of it. Thank you for all of the organization that you bring. And I think what were we, a month into it or 2 weeks into last year? And we were starting the big team. You're like, Greg, you want me to take over some organization? Just make me an admin, please.
I told you that my daughter was a competitive travel soccer player, and they traveled around. We went to tournaments. I was the team manager, so I was, like, responsible for registering for the tournament, keeping everybody, like, keeping things organized for the team, so the coach could coach, and I just, like, made sure the
Yes.
kids were there on time. So I was like, so this kind of fills that little void in my life where, I'm a retired soccer team manager.
Oh, we couldn't do it without you. All the daily, it just makes so much more sense. It was getting crazy, and we only had 500 people or so then. So now it's getting up
Exactly.
towards 5,000 and growing. So yeah, keep that organizational cap on for us, please. That's
Yeah.
amazing. All your contributions. Thank you. Thank you. What are we doing though? I mean, what are we looking forward to in the next year, 5 years, anything? Not like an event, but more of the same, or anything more specific come to mind as far as what the next year or 5 years in terms of goals or accomplishments?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that, besides this century, that I'm going to do better with in June, I really, I forget who it was, but there was another person I thought, oh, who you interviewed. I thought, oh, she's like my soul sister out there. She's like,
Yeah,
said something like, I know I need to do better with strength training, but I just can't quite get that done. But that's like a goal for me this year, is to continue to do well on the bike, get my fitness level back, right? Because we had kind of taken a little, with November, December was like, it was a lot. So we kind of like scaled back, and we're doing more endurance. So I want to bring my fitness level back up. I'm
yep,
fit. I feel good, but just bring that fitness level back up. Work on the strength. And I think the other thing is, I think I need to work on a little bit of like sometimes like mental self confidence, that I can do some of these more challenging rides. I have a little bit of like a head game I play. It gets into my head sometimes when I'm going into an event, and I'm like, oh, I can't do that hill, and I just gotta like have better self talk. That I can do
yeah.
these things. Don't psych
Oh,
myself out. I think I get myself psyched out sometimes.
that's so true. And this is on another level, but in my own experience, I'll relate. When I was a racer at, I mean, I guess category one, and then the next level would be pro level. So when I was a category one racer, a pretty successful pro racer said to me, he's like, you'll win races as soon as you believe you can win races. Uh, and that
Yeah,
is one of those nuggets, you collect them along the way, and that has stuck
yeah,
with me. And it's all about confidence. If you believe you can do well at an event, whatever well means, then you're way further along on your way than if you don't believe you can.
yeah,
So if you believe you can win races, you'll start winning.
yeah. I
and
like that. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, that worked. That worked too. I believed I should be finishing ahead of certain people, and I would figure out a way to do it eventually. Didn't happen
Yeah,
right away, but so
yeah.
that's a cool confidence builder. Sometimes you just have to decide you're more capable than you think you are.
Exactly. And like I might not enter races, but like I can climb that hill. Like I'll work on, I just got to work mentally on. I can get up that hill. Like I
That's
just
just the
gotta
level
just
I
keep
was
pedaling.
at. Yeah, I think that's relatable on
Yeah,
any level
yeah,
whatsoever. And
yeah.
sure.
Just keep
It feels
pedaling.
good to have
So
that confidence. True. So
yeah, yeah.
well, you've mentioned so much. Is there anything else you're really proud of that you haven't talked about yet?
Well, I would say one of the things I would add is like how the coaching. So I have you've been my coach now for almost 3 years, right? And one of the things that I really appreciate about it, even though like I'm not a racer, but like I'm a retired soccer mom,
You're you. Yeah, you're you. You're who you are.
and but I appreciate because I'm somebody who likes to know what I'm doing, right? So I'm 57 now, right? And when I first got to Peloton, I was like, gosh, I hope I don't want to hurt myself, right? I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to do damage, right? And so what I appreciate about the training program is that it's spelled out for me and it's appropriate for me, based on, our conversations and my goals and all of that. It's also the accountability because, some of these rides that you make up for me, they're hard. I did that power profile test. Guys, watching, you had the 45-minute power profile test that Matt gave you. Greg gave me an hour power profile test that had those spikes, the 5 minutes in zone 5, and just for shits and giggles, a 20-minute FTP at the end. So that was 20 minutes in zone 4 at the end of that thing. That was hard. And I think sometimes like this like negative self-talk, I think I would probably, left to my own devices, I would probably bail out of this thing. But I know you're going to be looking at my chart, and I'm like, I'm not going to get out of this thing. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to hit this zone 5. I'm going to stay here because I don't want to have to explain myself.
You don't want to have Coach say what happened. You'd much rather have Coach say, "Good job, good job, you did it." But yeah, I have pretty good experience in being able to see what you've done. It makes sense to put that longer test on there when you've done the work to get there. So yeah, feels
and you know
good,
what?
right?
The other thing is when they're done and I did it, and I'm like, I did that.
You're like, I'm pretty badass.
Pretty badass. That was pretty badass right there.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. That's cool. That's cool. Chris, you got me here in front of the whole community. You have any questions for me?
Yeah. So what would you say? I think there's a lot of people who are on our page now who are maybe newer to Power Zone training. It looks like, or maybe even new to Peloton or new to indoor. Are there a couple of key things that you would say to folks who are maybe just getting started? What should they be focused on?
Consistency. Pick your consistency and see how it fits into your life, and then go. I think there are so many places where you can get a regimented plan if you're not following along with us, with the plan we provide, which you don't have to go any further. But if you're following a plan, a regiment, be realistic. If 3 rides a week fits into your schedule and you can do it, awesome. Go for that. Consistency first. And then along those lines, don't do too much. The worst mistake you can make is to overdo it rather than underdo it in terms of overall training, overall strain. It takes weeks to dig yourself out of an overtrained, under-recovered situation. If you're undertrained, over-recovered, well, then you're antsy and you're jumpy, but you're still making gains. If you've overdone it to yourself, it happens. It happens. Figure out your life. And then recovery. I think so number 3 is recovery. It takes time sometimes to recover from workout to workout and from week to week and even from month to month. So we lay out the schedule, but there's 23 other hours in the day is a saying that I say a lot. And how you use those 23 hours is key to the success of your training, more so than the training. So those 3 things, consistency, avoid burnout or make it fit into your schedule and recovery.
That's a thing. That's an issue, right? For people, sometimes I think, indeed for folks who are just getting started or just trying to get restarted, it's like an all or nothing approach, right? They're like, well, I'm going to do it every day, or I'm going to do it 4 times a week. And if they miss a day, then they're like, oh, it's over, right? And they move on, right?
Or they have to do 2 rides the next day to try and make up for it.
Right.
Playing catch up is what I see a lot that also doesn't work because, all right, you're not allowing for any time. You're not doing that ride and then this ride and then this ride. You're doing double the amount in one day and not leaving room to recover from that extra big load. So, the consistency. So I'm not sure the tendency to want more and want more is always better. It's easy to get carried away, but sometimes less is better. Good saying from, I forget which coach, but the least amount necessary to produce a response. That's how you look at it. You start doing more than that and you need extra time to recover.
Yeah. I'm glad you were doing the videos with the Bike Fit team too, because that's such an important part, right? Because that was something early goings. I was, because I have like long legs and a short torso, and I'm like, am I on this? I don't want to like mess up my knees or my ankles, right? And so, getting a good bike fit can help with helps with a lot of things, right? It helps with your comfort and your performance, right? Because I couldn't believe what a change it was for me.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that was fun. I don't know if you saw, but I just did a talk with all three of them. And
I saw that.
so
Yeah.
yeah, oh, they are great. If you have the chance, get a bike fit. I mean, as often as you can, but as often
I had
as
one
it
a couple
makes
of
sense.
years ago. I think I had one way back, like in 2020. I probably need to get a tune up.
Yeah, I'm jealous of what they do. Just seeing that's a whole nother side of it. I never got into fitting people on bikes, but it would have made sense given all the physiology and anatomy background as a personal trainer, strength coach. I think it would have made sense, but going this direction, I think I feel like I'm missing out a little bit because it seems like fun to set somebody up properly.
Yeah.
That's the basic. Like that's where you start. If the bike doesn't fit, it's just as important as having the bike, is what I said yesterday.
I think so. Yeah, I agree with you. So
Yeah, cool. All right, cool. Any other stumpers for me? I mean, come on, you got me.
let's see. Well, you're going to do one on you're going to have a session on nutrition because that's a big thing that I've got to really focus on this year. So you're going to have another topic on nutrition coming
I
up.
think we're going to spend a couple weeks on nutrition. I would like that. I've kind of avoided it or left it in the last year. I touched on it a little bit, but I think with the help of some people in the group, we can really narrow in on getting some guidelines for cyclists across the board. I think it's a hard task to prescribe nutrition for everyone, but we can get some good things out there. And with the help of people who focus on nutrition, it's another area. Like I've learned about nutrition and I've counseled on nutrition and I've practiced it myself, but that's not, I do programming and talking with people and everything. And so nutrition, I'm going to need some help. And yeah, so Marjorie is gonna spend some time with me, and hopefully we'll have some good talks about nutrition and some good guidelines for the team.
That's good. Got a wedding coming up in September. You know, I gotta.
Oh yeah, no, that's important.
Gotta be ready for that.
That's important. I got so many personal training clients in New York City. Like, oh, I'm getting married, or my kid's getting married. Like the wedding is, yeah, you gotta look good for the wedding. Most importantly, you gotta feel good. You gotta feel good.
That's exactly right. Yeah, yeah.
All right, cool. Well,
thanks.
Yeah,
Listen,
this is awesome.
I do want to say, thank you for what you've done for me personally, and I think what you're doing, bringing this training and bringing this program to the Team Wilpers community out on Facebook is tremendous. I think people will really get a lot out of it, and you get out of it what you put into it. So follow the plan. Stick with it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure, really. Like what an honor to get to have a relationship with you and with this whole team. And that's how I see coaching. It's a relationship. It's not me barking out orders or me laying down the law saying you have to do this. It's absolutely the opposite. And there's so much learning going on, and I'm privileged to be part of it. So what fun.
Yeah.
What fun. Well, likewise. Well, this is awesome. Thank you so much. And everybody, please give Chris tons of kudos and likes and everything for all she does in the community. So thanks, Chris. I really appreciate it.
Happy to be part of it.
You are the athlete spotlight.
Great. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.